Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And Madame's birthday came and went, and with very little attention from anyone, certainly none from the royal family. A few of her friends, transactional kinds of friends, wished her rather strange happy birthdays, but the wider world ignored her birthday almost entirely, and certainly those old influential friends like Oprah and Tyler Perry and all the rest of them were very, very quiet. George Clooney, very quiet on the day. What did make a lot of noise was headlines in the Daily Mail about the bullying. That old story that Valentine Low broke on the eve of the Oprah Winfrey interview. And he was chatting to Kinsey Schofield recently and rehashing all of that and saying how nervous those staff members were of Meghan's appetite for vengeance. That's why they didn't really want to go public with any of the stuff. Daily Mail decided to revisit this on Meghan's birthday. And Meghan decided to clap back through page 6, through a source. And the source said, Valentine Low continues to desperately recycle false, offensive and long discredited allegations in an apparent bid to sell books and resuscitate relevance as part of a broader and deeply troubling agenda. The Duchess has faced years of unfounded attacks masked as journalism and a never-ending smear campaign. And I'm struggling to read my writing. Meghan remains undeterred by the noise and firmly focused on her family and work. So anyway, never-ending smear campaign, this deeply troubling agenda, long discredited allegations. You could have fooled me. They've never been discredited. And in fact, other American sources have come forward subsequently and reported at length on Meghan's alleged bullying. Valentine Low did make the point that he got a very strongly worded letter, a legal letter from the Sussexes, but they never pursued the matter, they never sued. And that seems to be something that they do as well. I have the Soulless Tarot on the tarot table now because it's interesting that Meghan felt so strongly about this on her birthday, that the source had to stage this clapback through the agency of the New York Post. And I want to know how damaging this whole episode has been for Meghan, or how she perceives it, because it's not been discredited. The allegations, they're ongoing, and I think will hang over her forever. But we're going to just look at this now. We're in the realm of royals behaving badly, and I'm doing a more serious read in the next reading today on royals behaving badly and where this is going to end up for the House of Windsor. But Meghan's got some explaining to do, shall we say, that hasn't been done. And so this scourge, all these rumours, these allegations, allegations hang over her and possibly have caused her some harm in her career, in her friendships and stuff like that. So we're going to ask about that today in this reading. I think I've got the energy. Soulless Tarot, as I say, have to remind you, it's tarot for fun and entertainment. All opinion, my opinion, all speculation, and of course I just read energy here, and there is a disclaimer in the box below. So let's see how badly this is sitting with her and this is affecting her still that on her birthday. Seemingly, a minion was sent out, I guess, that Meredith Main's person, to clap back in the New York Post. And we have the Chariot in reverse. And the Chariot is progress, it's direction, it's vision, it's purpose and where you want to go in life and what you want to achieve, and it's in reverse. This has blocked her progress. It has thwarted her ambitions remarkably, because it's major arcana and it's the underlying energy. It sits under everything here in this Celtic cross. It has really thwarted her. And Valentine Low made the point again to Kinsey Schofield that the story had to be released just before the Oprah interview, because it would have been drowned out by the Oprah interview. It would have looked like sour grapes and everything like that. So they had to get ahead of the Oprah interview. And they did. It wasn't a mortal wound for Meghan, but it was the first blow, really, that landed. Looking back, there was, of course, the Tiara Gate and the Who Made Who cry and whatever. But this story, coming from an impeccable source, never sued. Meghan never sued. The Queen felt it was so bad that she commissioned a report and all the rest of it. It was a blow. It was a body blow for Meghan. So let's get to it. Situation that Meghan is in right now. The heart of the matter. What are we dealing with? Justice. She feels that this is terribly unfair, and she would like, I believe, an apology. That is in that card, that justice card. And for once, I can sort of see her point of view. And I can see it only because I made a list for the next reading that I'm going to do today of royals behaving badly. Princess Margaret, the late Queen Mother, clocked up massive amounts of debt. Margaret, well, Prince Charles, very dodgy financial dealings, also petulant, spoiled, bad behaviour. Prince Andrew, Fergie, the rest of them, it's never ending. Harry, dreadful behaviour. Meghan sailed into the situation and probably thought, well, I can help myself to whatever I want. I can behave as badly as I like, because the rest of them are all doing exactly the same thing, Wallace and David. So there is a bit of a, well, I'm not doing anything that they didn't do vibe to this situation. That's why I'm reading on this today. I have to clarify that. I didn't say that earlier. But it is why I'm reading it. And I can see that justice card that she feels, well, why am I being singled out when the rest of them are just as bad, if not worse? And the only difference is they've got the blue blood in their veins, and me, I'm just a mere mortal. She feels very aggrieved. And I do think that that never-ending demand for an apology has got something to do with this, among other things that she may feel aggrieved about. So let's see what's the problem for her with these ongoing allegations that never stop. 10 of Wands, there it is. This burden gets heavier and heavier and heavier. It doesn't go away. It doesn't lessen. It intensifies. Over time, it has got worse. The Tiara Gate and what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. We're just the tap starting to drip, but now it's a flood. And Valentine Low was the one that really opened the tap up and let the water start to gush, the story start to gush. And now it's unbearable for her. This is something she's going to carry with her, and I think she's going to carry this with her for life. And I think she is beginning to grasp that, or maybe grasped it much earlier. I don't know how aware she is, but we'll see where it's going to go for her. But there it is, 10 of Wands. I'm sorry, the deep snores, you know who's snoring. So in the down below energy, which normally is the root cause of things and why they happen, and the subconscious and all of that stuff, but I tend to read it in these royal readings as what's going on behind the scenes, the hidden energy. Is there a panic on? Is there fury? What's the vibe down there? Wheel of Fortune, she believes she can turn this around. She needs to turn this around. She thinks this is key to her success in future. If she can just shut this down, then she can shift the energy. She can change her luck. And I think she believes that this story was the root cause of all the setbacks along the way. Can't blame herself, of course, can't do self-examination and think, well, maybe she made some bad choices in life. It's all the fault of Valentine Low and all the rest of them. I think he particularly is very much in her sights as someone she loathes and blames. So the goal of the clapback, what's she trying to achieve with all of this? Ace of Swords in reverse, she's trying to shut it down. Ace of Swords upright is telling the truth, being very loud in your declaration of your truth, and starting a message that goes out, a fresh idea, a fresh narrative. It's in reverse. She wants to shut this down. It's very important to her that she shuts it down, and it's very interesting that she really didn't show up on her birthday, apart from these rather sickening messages that her sycophantic friends were forced to put out on social media. I believe they were forced to put out on social media for whatever reason, and she was busy with the clapback, shutting it down, silencing it, stopping the story from spreading. It's a bit late for that, in my opinion. But anyway, let's move to the past and let's see how this has impacted her in the past. And we've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. That's particularly Harry's energy with that Knight of Wands in reverse, and I think Harry has been particularly angry about it, in that irrational kind of knee-jerk reaction that we've seen exhibited most recently in the BBC interview, which allegedly was arranged when he thought he was going to win the appeal, and then he vented in that interview without anyone being able to stop him, and that's his energy. I think it's really exacerbated the situation with Harry, that he's irrational and hot-headed and impetuous at the best of times, and I think this really went off like a rocket in their lives, that this loathing of the media, I think it was key in the loathing of the British media in particular, that Valentine Low should come out with these claims, write about it, get away with it, and no one in the British royal family did anything about it. I don't think Harry understands the extent of the bad behaviour, because it's his divine right, it's Prince Andrew's divine right, Princess Margaret's, Prince Charles, as he then was, Wallace and Edward's divine right to behave as badly as they possibly could, in terms of greed and grifting and abuse and tantrums and bullying and all the rest of it. Where you have tremendous power, you have tremendous power to do wrong. And unfortunately, the royal family, not just the British royal family, I'm not singling them out, all royals potentially can go right off the rails spectacularly. And Harry, I think, really, this wound him up and set him off. Like a crazy person. That's how the energy is coming through for me. What's going to happen next with Meghan and this story? What's coming towards her? What's she going to do? She's trying to shut it down now. She's trying to reframe the whole thing. Got the Emperor in reverse. And the Emperor is the king. We've got a king in waiting as well. And I'm wondering if in that energy of that card, we don't have a Prince William waiting in the wings, who might take a very different approach to this story than Charles has done so far. And one of the reasons Charles might be very cautious, apart from personal privacy and the fact that that report was always meant to be private, it was for HR purposes. People were frightened of having their names revealed and their stories leaked to the press, because it might have made them targets for even more abuse and vengeance and all that kind of stuff. But Prince Charles, as he then was, might have featured, like Prince Andrew might have featured in it, as also behaving badly. Who knows? I'm taking the worst possible view of the situation today. I just, for some reason, feel that in my energy. And we might have a king in waiting who's going to treat it very differently with that Emperor in reverse. But that's a very deep energy in this card. On a more surface level, the Emperor is about management and organizations, and of course management would be HR and the bullying report and all of that, and hidden away, still buried for the time being, but also in terms of Megan's life and her approach to this and what she's trying to achieve. It's not going to go well. If she's planning on shutting this down, shutting Valentine Low down, shutting whoever down with this new PR strategy, and they're really coming out fast and furious. If something happens that they don't like, they don't sit on it. It's instantaneous, the response. We've seen that with a few things already. The Andrew Lowney book, they came out very quickly and they denied everything, and they sent out lawyers' letters. We're getting the same kind of very quick sort of quick energy, very quick and very savage and very direct response, even if it's not necessarily truthful. It might be their truth, but it's not necessarily the truth. Whatever she's trying to manage and contain and control and dictate, Emperor energy, is not going to work going forward. And that's short-term energy. It's not necessarily that short-term. It could be like the next year or two for me as a reader. So her view of these allegations and stuff, what does she think of them? What does she tell people about it? 5 of Cups in reverse. She believes that this is the cause of everything upsetting in her life, where everything went wrong. The 5 of Cups, full of self-pity, full of recriminations, can't see the good in life, can only see the negatives. This is where it all went wrong. There's no ownership in that energy. And I'm reading it as she would like to move on from this. 5 of Cups is in reverse. She would like to put this behind her. She'd like to heal from this. But she doesn't really know how to, because she's trying to micromanage it. I get that with the Emperor as well in reverse. The Ace of Swords, the clap back, and all the rest of it is not really going to help. She needs to shift her perspective for there to be some movement forward from both sides, and maybe some sort of peacemaking endeavor, putting it behind her. She would like to, but she's very focused on her sense of grievance, in my opinion, as an energy reader. Of course, what pressure has this put her under? We've already got the 10 of Wands, which is maximum pressure in this reading. So what else does the universe have to tell us about this situation? We've got the World in reverse. That is a massive, massive card. It's one of the most potent cards in the tarot because it's about achievement. How you've handled this whole cycle from Fool to World, beginning to end. How's it gone? And for her, it's a failure because the World card is in reverse. She hasn't achieved her goals. The Chariot in reverse also tells us this. She's very publicly been criticized. She's very publicly failed. I think she's lost deals. She's lost opportunities as a result of these allegations that have never been proven to be false. However she may claim that they have been long discredited. That's rubbish. They have not been discredited. Nobody has come out and discredited them. And so for her, the sense of frustration that she hasn't achieved her goals, that vision board hasn't, she hasn't been able to tick off all the things that she was going to achieve. Ruler of the world, President of the United States, Secretary General of the United Nations, bestest royalist ever, all of that stuff. Married to Prince William, being snarky, of course. Very frustrating for her, very. Her hopes and fears with this story. High Priestess in reverse, she's worried that things are going to leak. Very worried about this. That people are going to leak stuff along the way. And what have we seen recently? Interesting, I'm getting Sally Bedell-Smith in there. I'm not saying she's going to leak it. Don't misunderstand me. I need to make that very clear. But I'm only saying her name because of what she had to say about the late Queen's feelings as reported to her by someone else. So it's complete hearsay. But Meghan might be worried that something similar is going to happen going forward. This is something she can't shut down, she can't silence. The High Priestess upright is silence and secrets, and in reverse those secrets leak out, and they could leak from similar in a similar kind of way. Someone dies, someone leaves a diary, or someone says something or something. As people were saying about all these Andrew stories and all the other stories, what happened to the good old days where someone could just leave a file on the train or whatever, and then oops, someone found the secret documents in a file on the train and gave it to the Daily Mail. Those days. It's there in that energy. Meghan is biting her nails to the quick. I'm getting quite literally with that. The idea that someone somehow might just decide the time is now to leak something that would be catastrophic for her. We're getting major arcana and more major arcana in this reading. This is serious stuff for her. Very serious. Where's it going to go for her? How's it going to play out for her? Current timeline, current energy, don't have a time frame on it. We've got the Three of Wands in reverse. It's a small energy, technically, given all the huge cards that I have on the tarot table, but it is deals that don't flourish. Opportunities that wither, things that she was expecting. It's a card of hope and expectation, the Three of Wands. That you believe that you have launched projects that are going to flourish when it's upright and do very well and be very profitable. It's in reverse, so it tells me that it's going to continue to blight her opportunities going forward, even though she believes deep in her heart of hearts that she just needs to change the narrative, and then her fortune, her luck will change. Everything will start going well for her. I can't imagine living with the amount of negativity that she has to live with on a daily basis. I would be in an asylum, I have to say. If I was personally going through that level of negativity, I would never cope. But it's going to continue to thwart her ambition. The Chariot card that's been in reverse throughout this reading comes true at the end, very clear that it's going to blight her progress, stop her in her tracks, make life very difficult for her. It's not going to ruin her, not yet, but it's certainly making it very difficult for her to achieve the level of success that she believed she was entitled to when she joined the royal family. That's the reading. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.